So this is really how I crack the code on how to get reporters to respond to pitches that you're sending in. And how am I able to do this? Because I am a reporter, and I have been a reporter in television for more than 10 years. So I know exactly what people are looking for. Reporters, journalists, people in the news business, people on talk shows. I know exactly what they're looking for, the types of stories, and what you want to include so that they're going to pick up that phone or email you back. And this is not necessarily a guarantee, but it really ups your chances of getting noticed and them realizing the story you really have to tell. Because I believe that every person, no matter who you are, where you come from, what business you're running, you have a story. You just need a little help nailing it down, really, to show exactly what you're trying to say. And that's not always easy when it's your own business. I know that for sure. So this is what you're going to be getting. This is what you're going to be getting, an actual step-by-step system as to what to include in your pitches. And this is actually a system that many newsrooms use, because when we send in our own pitches in the morning, there are certain qualifiers that make our stories that we have to pitch more likely to make it on air ourselves. Because believe it or not, there is this long process from the start to the finish where we have to get our stories approved by other managers. So just because a reporter has called you up and your story may be pitched doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to happen. And these are some steps that will definitely help you to ensure not only to get the reporter on board with your story, but also help the reporter pitch that story to their producers and their managers. So what else are we going to include? You'll get a checklist of what you want to send with your email or your pitch, however you want to send it, because there's multiple different ways. One-page template to really help you work through and break down and summarize what your story is all about. Because what I see all too often when people are pitching their stories is they're pitching their whole entire life story. But the fact of the matter is that we can only give you a minute or a minute and a half if it's local news. Even on the national news, sometimes their segments aren't that long, because we have to keep the viewer's attention. So we need to really niche down. And while your life story is important, that's not exactly what local TV and national TV reporters are really looking for. They're looking for something that is timely, that's really gonna punch that mark. They get a specific time allotment to do it. And if you're pitching this whole long story that they can't wrap their head around in a couple of seconds, then the likelihood of you getting airtime or getting mentioned in the media probably is not going to happen. All right, and so I will also be including examples of pitches in this course. I have a million pitches that either I've sent out, I've had sent to me, or other businesses have sent to newsrooms that I have worked at across the country. And so we'll kind of break those down and look at them as far as, what works, what's too much, what kind of turns people off. I also have reporters who have taken a look at these pitches, have been in the business as long as I have, and can really tell you exactly what they like and what they don't like when it comes to pitches. And most importantly, how they want to be pitched, because it's not necessarily all by email or all social media. There's a variety of ways that you can pitch your story, and there isn't really a one way to pitch all reporters. So we'll go over that. I will be going over tips to be interview ready, because every time I have interviewed someone, some are great and you can't tell they're nervous, others are nervous, and there's really no reason to be nervous. Well, that's easier said than done. I have been on TV for more than 10 years and I still get nervous. I am nervous right now talking to a camera in the middle of my own living room. So kind of working through tips that help me be a little bit more comfortable on camera, what to do with your hands, exactly what you should be wearing on camera, and just ways that we can be more confident being in our own skin, because the best interview is really when you are able to calm down and be yourself. And so I'll go through a few things like that to help you guys out. I also have a list of websites you can check every day or whenever you want to help you find timely story ideas, and not necessarily repitch those ideas, but kind of, if you have a hard time figuring out what's a good story idea, this is a really good way to just get in the practice of seeing what kind of sites or news stations like to do what kind of stories. It also helps you keep inside the news cycle, which is so important, not only probably for your own business and your industry, but also when you're pitching stories, because the worst thing we see as reporters is, number one, people pitching non-newsworthy stories, or stories that may just do not register that day because there's some sort of catastrophic event happening, and it's so inappropriate that we get a pitch about kitty cat bows or something in your email when the world is on fire, and it's just like, okay, you guys obviously are not connected to the world. And so I'll give you a few tips and examples and websites to help you guys out with that as well. I also have a handful of case studies that I want to share with you to show you that what I'm doing is actually working with some great business owners that I already know and have been getting airtime, and exactly what's working for them, because each person is so extremely different. And while I wish there was a magic button, there is not. And so if you just follow along with this course, I promise, it will give you the motivation that you need to get in the media, no matter your business, and no matter how confident you feel right now. I know that this is going to work for you because it's worked for other people, and you have the confidence and experience of a reporter who has been doing this and seeing pitches and pitching to managers herself for more than a decade.